Is inflation stirring the pot of our economy more than we realize? And how does this influence our financial decisions and the broader economic landscape? These are critical questions, especially in the face of recent inflation reports. Unpacking the inflation report, it's clear each element plays a significant role. The Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index, excluding food and energy, is a key metric. It rose by 2.8% on a 12-month basis and increased by 0.3% from a month ago, aligning with predictions. This index measures the average change in prices for all domestic personal consumption, providing a comprehensive picture of consumer spending trends. Another crucial element is the core PCE, which rose by 0.3% for the month and 2.5% at the 12-month rate. This measure focuses on the long-term inflation pressures, excluding volatile elements like food and energy. Inflation also impacts consumer spending, which increased by 0.8% on the month, beating the estimate of 0.5%. Meanwhile, personal income saw a rise of 0.3%, a tad softer than the anticipated 0.4%. The stock and bond markets were closed on Good Friday, but when doors open again, these numbers will undoubtedly be at the forefront of many discussions. The Federal Reserve, which targets 2% annual inflation, will also be paying close attention, as core PCE inflation hasn't been below this level in 3 years. Inflation pressures came more from the goods side, rising by 0.5% compared to the 0.3% increase for services. This counters the trend over the last year, where services rose by 3.8%, while goods actually fell by 0.2%. International travel services, air transportation, and financial services and insurance also contributed to the upward pressure. On the goods side, the motor vehicles and parts category was the biggest contributor. Now let's hone in on the key points discussed. Inflation is on the rise, with the Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index and the core PCE showing significant increases. Consumer spending is also on an upward trend, potentially indicating more inflation pressures. The Federal Reserve, targeting 2% annual inflation, will be closely monitoring these developments. In conclusion, understanding inflation and its impact on the economy is not just the preserve of economists. It's a matter that affects us all, directly or indirectly. It's a critical factor in policy decisions, consumer behavior, and the health of the overall economy. So keep an eye on these numbers as they paint a picture of our economic landscape.